Countdown to kickoff. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We hit the Atlanta Falcons earlier on in the show. What about Tampa Bay? This team has won the division 4 straight years. They're going for year number 5. They were plus 117 point differential a year ago. That was one of the best numbers in football. Nobody else in the division was above 0. Plus 117, the only positive number. Still got Todd Bowles there, but the reason we bring up the coaching staff is because Liam Cohen is not. You had all that drama. They were prepared to make him the highest paid offensive coordinator in NFL history. If he did not do a second interview with the Jacksonville Jaguars, he gave them the double bird. He said, I'm out of here. I'm taking my head coaching job. He is now in Jacksonville. So how are they going to replace the OC Liam Cohen? Well, they're just promoting from within. Josh Grizzard is now the OC. He was a passing game coordinator a year ago. So you like that continuity. Is he going to be as good? Probably not. Is Baker going to repeat what he did a year ago? 4,500 yards, 41 touchdowns? Probably not. We can get to all that, but obviously this team is favored to win the division. They're about even money, and the win total is sitting at 9.5 after a 10-7 season a year ago. Sam, where do you want to start with the Bucs?
Not only are they favored to win the division, they're even money at some places. You know, like that's where we're at. I saw one book in Vegas minus 110 on Tampa. So
not me.
No, I'm not laying it. Of course, I'm not, because as we discussed earlier in the show, we're on another team in that division. Baker is the cog, though. He's the guy. He has really revolutionized his career. And there were a lot of people, you remember the end of the Cleveland regime, then he's on Carolina, and you're like, oh man, what a bust. And then a pit stop in Los Angeles really changed a lot for him. He didn't even have a great record that year as a starter. He was 1-3 as a starter. But just understanding some of the schematics and getting a chance to work under Sean McVay, I think opened up a lot for him. It just did. And then he gets into Tampa and he's able to show you what he can do. And back-to-back years of 4,000 yards. That was a number he never hit as a pro until his 28-year-old season and 29-year-old season. And you know what they did in Tampa? They decided, not only are we going to bring everybody back at receiver, we're going to draft a kid out of Ohio State named Emeka Egbuka. And we're going to give you this fancy toy as well. They're going to throw the ball. I mean, he threw the ball 570 times last year. I don't know that he can match the production in terms of 4,500 yards and 40 touchdowns. But, Joe, there's a world where he throws the ball more. He might throw it 600 times this year.
Man. Yeah, 4,500 is tough to match. And the betting market is saying what? Well, you're going to get some regression there. They're knocking him down 700 yards. They put the number at 3,800, 28.5 passing touchdowns. That's where he was in 23. He had 28 passing touchdowns. They make the number this year 28.5 after having 41 a season ago. Let's see. This guy's been around 8 years, right? Number of times he's gone over 28.5. 1 last year. Only time he's gone over 28.5. That's a sharp number. I think that's exactly where it should be. Only time he's had a quarterback rating over 100. You mentioned back-to-back 4,000-yard years. The Bears are still waiting for that to happen for the first time in team history, and he's done it in back-to-back years. But he's been available in every game. Also part of it, being tough, being on the field. We can't say the same about some of these receivers. Evans he had another 1,000-yard year, but we know he's near the tail end. And on the other side, you have Godwin. He was only available in 7 games last year. So the move to draft Egbuka makes a lot of sense. He's our receiver of the future. After that, boom, 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 boom. 4 defensive players. That's how they attack the draft, working on Todd Bowles' defense. Are we going to see regression? That's the big question. Is Godwin going to be available? What version of Mike Evans are we going to see? And as a rookie receiver, how involved is he going to be? And when we were talking to Bo Morgan earlier, like a good point out of him on the Buccaneers is you saw how creative they were with the run game. That was kind of their big negative on the offensive side of the ball, that they hadn't had much of a run game, but they were able to make it work with Bucky Irving last year. Had a really strong year, rushed for over, I believe, 1,100 yards on the season. But just one thing I keep going back to is, all right, you had Liam Cohen. You had one of the better OCs. You had Baker. He's the best year of his career. And the number's 9.5, and they had 10 wins. Felt like everything had to go right for them to get to 10 because they have a weak defense, and they know it. That's why they used almost all of their draft picks on defense. That's where I think the difference is. I think the Falcons are now going to have a better defense than the Bucs, and for them to just barely go over the win total, this year's number last year when everything was going right, it makes me think I'm going to bet against them, even though I want to say during the year that we were betting on them a bunch as a dog.
As a dog, for sure. But I think that script is going to be different this year. And, you know, the one thing that has to be talked about with this team is their left tackle, Tristan Wirfs, already being hurt. And how long is that going to bleed into the regular season? Because Mayfield the other day at camp said, we're not going to have him for a little bit. Well, how long is a little bit? Are we talking this month, or are we talking week 1, week 2? We don't know. We will learn together on the fly. There's also a report that the team was maybe thinking about putting Chris Godwin on the PUP list, which would mean that he would have to miss the first 4 weeks. So, look, you can't really win a season in the first 4 games, but you could lose a season. You go 1-3 or 0-4, it's hard to climb out of that. Not to say that it's going to happen, but if they don't have Wirfs and Godwin, that's their left tackle and probably their best all-around receiver who's trying to come back from a knee injury. That's not going to be an easy surface for that offense to execute on. Not to mention you're replacing your offensive coordinator. So I have more question marks about the Bucs offense than anything on this team. Even though there's a lot of stability on paper and over the long haul, the start for them is very important in Tampa. They have to get off to a good start. And if they don't have Wirfs and Godwin, who knows?
Part of the reason the defense struggled so much is also availability. That a lot of their key players just not available. Like, it felt like Vita Vea was on the injury list every single week. He ended up playing most games, but the guys in the secondary did not. Antoine Winfield, he missed half the year. I think he played in 9 games last year. Jamel Dean, their starting cornerback, always seems like a guy who's on their injury report. They might have some injury-prone players. And Otten is beat up right now. He missed a few games last year. So now if you look up the average age, they're not going to pop as one of the oldest teams, even though it feels that way. They've gotten younger on the line offensively, but we know that some of the playmakers are old, and that's why they go out and draft Ibuka. Like you were talking about the state of some of these players, the injury status, they might need him to do a whole lot more than they wanted from the outset. And that's going to be a big ask. Like, you may like him as a player, but to step in for a team that just won the division, a team that is expected to make the playoffs, they're minus 144 to be a playoff team. That's a big ask stepping in, like in an offense that is now changing the offensive coordinator a little bit, but they have continuity because he was there. I don't know. I have a lot of questions, man, about this team. I think it's arrow down for them. And obviously we stated how we feel about Atlanta.
We're on the same page. I'm under the win total. Yeah. I would consider a play on them potentially to miss the playoffs. Look, that 2-game start is crucial. Obviously, every team wants to start off on the right foot. But you're at Atlanta, which you could easily lose, and then you're at Houston. And I'm a Houston guy this year. So 0-2 potentially, question mark. Then you're home against the Jets. Should probably win. Then the Eagles roll to town. And you got to face that physical offensive line. Not saying win or lose. You probably lose, but that's going to take a toll on you. Win or lose, they're gonna hit you in the face all game. And then you got to travel across the country that next week and play at Seattle. It's just not an easy schedule for me. So I'm looking to short Tampa.
I mean, look, man. We're going to be on Atlanta plus 2.5 at home, right?
I already am.
Okay, I'm just making sure. You already bet it?
It's already in. And that will be a teaser play, too. Atlanta through 7.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Survivor.
Do it now. I'm saying Survivor.